You have your house sold and the home inspection is scheduled, and the home inspector shows up with the buyer at the prearranged scheduled time that everybody agrees to. The selling agent and the buyer and the home inspector are all anticipating that they're going to have the house to themselves so they can have some conversation, some privacy, really get a good look and not feel that the seller is following them around, breathing down their neck. In this instance, however, we have a seller that's rather protective of his property, or for all myriad of reasons he wants to be there, perhaps to defend the quality of his house, and he refuses to leave. He says, look, it's my house and I want to be here. I'll leave you alone, but I mean, I want to be here. And a little bit of an argument ensues with the seller and the buyer's agent that he's obligated to leave. So here's the question. Is there any obligation under the part of the seller to leave the buyer and the home inspector, babysat by the buyer's agent perhaps? Does the seller have to leave the property? No, there's absolutely no law that it requires him to leave the property. You might have a circumstance where the buyer becomes angry and says, look, I don't want the house anymore. That's his privilege. Part of the due diligence clause, he gets to make any decision he wants during that cooling off period, but the seller has no obligation to leave. So when you've got a buyer's agent saying to the seller, you have to leave, nonsense, doesn't have to leave.